I remember reading on your website a little while back how you had just finished Jersey Girl, and it was, I want to say, 184 pages, and how you were thinking of doing that maybe with Affleck, but I remember he was doing Daredevil, and there was some stuff going on. So
there was static.
There we go. I was just wondering if you could tell me about it.
Elaborate on that?
If you could.
I think you had all the details.
Oh, okay.
Back on the 4th of July, I went to, I was still out in Los Angeles working on Jay and Bob, and we went to Affleck's house for 4th of July. So we were there, and he's a big fan of Chasing Amy, still is kind of this day, like playing the Holden part. And he's always bugging me to write something like that again. He's like, just write something like Chasing Amy again. You gotta write it. Who else could write? You gotta write it, man. Write it, fuck, write it. And I'm just like, motherfucker, one of us won an Oscar for writing. So I started telling him about this idea that I had for a movie which would eventually become Jersey Girl. He's like, I love it, write it. And I said, I will. When do you want to do it? And he said, April. Want to shoot it in April? I got a window in April. I said, yeah, all right, April's good, because it was July and we had a few months. So I'd written about 30, 40 pages, and I sent them off to him, and he fell in love with it, because I'm kind of like a pusher. You know, the first taste is free. And then you have to pay for the rest. And how he pays is we make him work very, very cheap. Because dude earns like $15 million a picture, but we bring him on and pay him about $15 an hour. Around the same time, while we're still working on the flick, there's a dude named Mark Steven Johnson who's directing the Daredevil movie. And he'd been hanging around the set while we were shooting the movie. I met him through this other guy, Jim McLaughlin. He said, who do you think could play Daredevil? And I said, Affleck, because that's my answer for everything. Like, I just think Affleck could play. I'm a big fan, so I think he can play anything. People are like, Jaws 5. I'm like, Affleck. Affleck plays the fucking shark. So I was like, Affleck. He said, Affleck, you really think so? I said, yeah, I think he'd be great. He'd dye his hair red, because Matt Murdock, the guy who is Daredevil in the comics, redhead. I said, I think he'd be great. And plus, I know he's a fan, because he wrote the intro to the Daredevil trade paperback I did. So I told Affleck, I was like, this dude sniffing around about Daredevil, see if you want to play. He's like, Daredevil? I fucking love Daredevil. I said, that's what I told him. He said, what'd you say? I said, you should play it. He said, why? I was like, I think you should play everything. And, like, even the shark from Jaws? Yes, the shark from Jaws. So they hooked up, and they kind of dug each other, and soon Affleck dropped me a call and was just like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do Daredevil. I'm going to put on the fucking red tights and throw the billy club and have the horns. I was like, couldn't be any fucking more embarrassing than Pearl Harbor. Go ahead. I said, when are you going to start? He goes, April. And I said, April, that's when we're going to do Jersey Girl. And he said, yeah, but we can wait on Jersey Girl. You know, we just move it into the summer. I do Daredevil, I get paid my big nut, and then we go do Jersey Girl, and you pay me $15 an hour. I said, I don't know, man. I think we should kind of do Jersey Girl first. You said you were going to do it first. And he's like, well, don't get upset. I said, I'm not upset, but fair is fair. And he's just like, you recommended me for fucking Daredevil. I said, I didn't know it was going to coincide with our Jersey Girl shoot. Fuck Daredevil. Because I'll turn coat real quickly. At this point, I haven't even written more than 40 pages of the script, but I'm insisting that we're going to go in April, even though I'm not even nearly done. So finally, 2 weeks go by, and he calls me up, because I let word leak out through our Miramax exec that we were going to go in April no matter what, with or without Ben, even if it was somebody else. And so he calls up, and he's just like, what the fuck is this I hear? You're going to shoot Jersey Girl with somebody else? You're writing that movie for me? I said, but you're going to put on the tights, so fuck you. But he said, how are we going to work this out? I said, we're not. I'm going to go forward in April, and if you're there, if you want to do it, that's great. If you don't, no hard feelings, go do Daredevil. But I want to do something in April. I want to do this movie. I kind of got into the notion of doing it. And he said, Jesus Christ. He's like, look, if you're telling me that you want me to do Jersey Girl in April and you want me to pass on Daredevil, I'll do it. I won't be happy about it, but I'll fucking do it. And I was just like, well, if we move the movie to the summer, you have to promise to take far, far less than you normally take. And he was just like, oh, God, fine, dude. If that'll do it, he's like, that's great. I said, excellent, man. That means a lot to me. And then there's a long pause on the phone. And he's putting shit together in his mind. And then he goes, you didn't even finish writing the fucking script yet, did you? And And I said, nope, sucker, goodbye. When we called up the student activity board, we said we're going to be shooting at Kent State. They were like, bullshit. They're like, we went through that shit once before, never again. That's a tough thing, man. It's just like, that'll always be associated with the school. They'll never live it down, you know, the shooting. I mean, it's a horrible thing, but it's kind of like Germany. Not really, like Kent State's not like Germany, but I remember I went to Germany with one of the flicks once, and, you know, they're really nice people. But when you get there, the first thing you're like is, where's the concentration camps? Can we... My friends and I would like to go see the concentration camps where you slaughtered many people. Where? And they're like, no, well, they're here, but, you know, we're Germans and we make cars and culture, beer. I'm sure you like beer. Wouldn't you like to see any of that? And we're like, no, just the concentration camps. We want to see the biggest colossal blunder of any culture, anywhere. Take us. They're like, all right, get in the fucking car. And there's always an older person that, like the cab driver, speak very broken English, and you're like, so what, were you there? Were you around? Dude's like 26. And he's like, no, you know, but my grandparents were, I guess. They were alive during that time. I'm like, well, did they know? Were they in trouble? Tell us, what, more? And the guy's just like, he's heard it a zillion times. And he's like, yeah, well, they teach it in school, and then we go home and we accuse our grandparents of atrocities. But I think that's what he said, because I can't understand German. I'm sure he was just like, shut the fuck up, fat American. But yeah, I guess that's a tough thing to live down. I'm sure like one day somebody from Kent State will cure cancer. And it'll be like, we're at Kent State, we cured cancer. And they'll be like, yeah, but didn't you have those shootings there?